Hi, I'm Claire. I'm not an RV expert, but I'm here with Chris, who's a certified RV tech. If you're a new RVer or you just need a refresher on the basics in your RV, then this video is for you.
Today we're going to be talking about clogs, how they form, the different types which there can be, and how to get rid of them in all different types of camping situations.
Before we get started, we have a couple of ground rules. Number 1, your education is our priority. And number 2, we are not here to talk down on any brands or throw any brands under the bus. In fact, we might actually have a few recommendations for you guys.
That's right. We've got quite a few clogs to get through today, so let's get started. Clogs can happen even if you are doing all of the right steps when it comes to camping. Now, the thing of it is like clogs, they can seem like they're kind of a scary thing to deal with, but the truth of the matter is that they're genuinely not, because they can be taken care of, and relatively simply too. So we're going to walk you through the different types of clogs which can form primarily in the black water holding tank. We will touch a little bit onto the gray water holding tank, but we're going to focus mostly on black tank clogs in this video. There are 3 major types of clogs which you can experience inside of the black water holding tank. The first is the pyramid plug. This can happen if you accidentally leave the black water holding tank valve in the open position, or if the black valve is not sealing completely and you are allowing the liquid and water to flow out of the tank. This will allow waste to stack on top of each other and can ultimately build up to a level where it can block off the pipe that connects the RV toilet to the black tank. The second type of clog which we will discuss is a blocked line, which is going to be a part of your plumbing system leading either to the black tank or from the black water holding tank. Sometimes waste can get built up at the exit or at the entrance of the holding tank, and this can create a clog on either side of those lines. The final clog we're going to discuss is the compacted tank. This can happen if you put your RV into storage over long terms with waste still inside of the holding tank. Let's say that you forget to dump the tank after your last camping adventure and you put the RV into storage. Over time, the liquid inside of this will evaporate, leaving behind only solid waste. This can basically turn the entire black tank into a brick of waste and paper.
Pyramid compacted and blocked? Oh my! But seriously, how can we prevent these from happening?
That's a good question. When it comes to preventing clogs inside of the black water holding tank, one of the best things which you can do is to keep your black water holding tank valve closed at all times unless you are dumping the contents of the black tank. This will allow for all of the liquid to stay inside of there and will also help to build up a liquid level which will cover up the waste and paper inside of the black tank and allow it to be rinsed out when it's time to dump the tank. Be sure to use plenty of water when it comes to using the black water holding tank. When you go to flush the RV toilet, you should already have several inches of water inside of the RV toilet bowl in between uses, and when you flush, make sure that you hold the flush pedal down for a little bit longer. More water in the tank will mean that there will be more ability for waste breakdown and more water to move waste and paper out of the tank when it's time to dump it. An added benefit of having plenty of water in the holding tank is that it will cover up the waste and paper and keep it submerged beneath the water line. This will act as a vapor barrier and will keep odors from reaching the inside of the RV. The only things that should ever be flushed down an RV toilet and into the black tank are water, waste, toilet paper, and a holding tank treatment. You will want to avoid having anything else go into there, so be sure and throw away any feminine hygiene products, paper towels, or flushable wipes. None of these should ever be flushed down into the black tank because these will lead to clogs almost without a doubt. We recommend using only a high quality holding tank treatment inside of the black tank. This will be one which is based with bacteria and enzymes. These tend to break down waste and paper, so they are easily rinsed out of the holding tank. This will keep you clog free while on your camping adventures. Rinsing your holding tank can be one of the best lines of defense when it comes to combating clogs in your black tank. We recommend rinsing your holding tank after every dump if it is possible to do so. If there is, however, a long line at a dump station, just be sure that you rinse your tank out thoroughly after your next dump, and this will help you avoid clogs from things building up inside of the tank and lines in your black tank. We recommend that you never store your RV with waste or paper inside of the holding tank. We understand that at the end of a camping trip, sometimes all you want to do is just go home and avoid going to the dumping station. But we recommend that you never put your RV even into short-term storage with waste inside of the holding tank. The liquid can evaporate from the tank, leaving you behind a solid brick of waste, which we call a compacted tank, and these can be some of the most difficult to clear. Finally, we recommend deep cleaning your holding tank relatively frequently. For seasonal RVers, this means at the start and at the end of the camping season, and for full-timers, we recommend doing this once every 3 to 4 months. A deep clean on the tank will allow for more waste breakdown than a typical use of a holding tank treatment, and with additional rinses in between there, it will help to move any waste which might have migrated to different locations which may not normally be reached throughout the cleaning process of camping.
Thanks, Chris. That's really helpful. And those definitely sound like some easy habits that I can pick up. How do I prevent a clog in my gray tank?
Well, if you want to prevent a clog in your gray tank, clogs in the gray tank are not very common. If you do have a clog, it typically happens in the plumbing leading up to or beyond the gray water holding tank. These can take place in a P-trap or in some of the piping and can oftentimes be caused by hair, grease, or food debris inside of the pipes. Grease is typically not the cause of clogs for the gray water plumbing system. It can happen if you were to pour lots of grease down a drain. That could potentially cause a clog in the plumbing, but typically it is just something which leads to sensor issues in the gray water holding tank, not full-on clogs. Hair and other food debris which is not strained before going down the drain is typically the cause of the clog, and these can be avoided by using simple sink and shower strainers. We recommend deep cleaning the gray water holding tank fairly frequently, just like we do when it comes to the black water holding tank, and we've got a whole other video which will walk you through the different steps when it comes to deep cleaning the gray water holding tank.
Okay, let's say I've been following all the right steps like using plenty of water, using a high quality tank treatment, rinsing, but I still get a clog in my black tank. How can I remove this so that I can continue using my black tank?
Well, that's a great question. When a clog occurs in the black water holding tank, fortunately, it is not a huge deal in order to get rid of it. We recommend using Unique's Clear It in order to break down any waste which might have built up in either the form of a pyramid plug, a block line, or a compacted tank. In the case of really bad clogs, where a piece of piping is completely blocked and you're not sure that you're going to get enough of the Clear It or water into the holding tank, sometimes it can help to use a 10-foot stick of 1/2-inch PEX piping. This can be used to break through any waste or paper which might build up, allowing a path for liquid to travel through in order to fully break down the clog. In the absolute worst case scenarios, sometimes it is required to use a holding tank cleaning service. These use a high pressure system which will basically reverse jet the contents of the holding tank and can break pretty much anything free and clear it. If this is required, then these services can be absolutely necessary in getting you back to a clog-free black tank.
What if I have a clog in my gray tank?
Gray water clogs, either before or after the gray water holding tank, can usually be fixed by means of mechanical methods, either by disassembling the pipes to access where the clog is located at, or by running a snake down the line. You usually have to use some specialized means of freeing the clog instead of just pouring a liquid down the pipe. We go into this in more detail in another video.
Wow, I think all of this will definitely help our viewers avoid those dreaded clogs. Can you summarize a couple of key takeaways?
Sure. The things which you're going to want to remember are going to be to keep the black water holding tank valve in the closed position at all times unless you are dumping the holding tank. Always use plenty of water inside of the holding tank. If you think you're using enough, you still should probably use some more. The only things which should ever be flushed down the RV toilet is going to be human waste, toilet paper, urine, lots of water, and a holding tank treatment. Speaking of holding tank treatments, we recommend using a high-quality bacteria and enzyme-based holding tank treatment to break down wastes and keep you clog-free. Be sure and always rinse your tank whenever practical. If you can do this every time that you dump the holding tank, that is the best way to go about it. And then never store your RV with any waste inside of the holding tank.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, please just let us know in the comments. We also have a guide on clogs if you want to take a look at that. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and share this with a friend.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.